I put ice in my corner, man. Coming through with no weakness. Go down the miss, no secret. Flick the wrist.
Hola chicos, ¿cómo están? Bienvenidos a una nueva entrevista de Fordewin MMA. El día de hoy me acompaña un hombre que nos dejó a todos con la boca abierta el día sábado con una sumisión, de terror. I'm here with Paul Craig, my good friend from Scotland. How you doing, Paul? Good to talk to you. Thank you for being for the win.
No, it's an absolute pleasure to speak to you, my friend. Thanks very much for your time. I know it's early bells for you in the morning. It's mid-afternoon. I've had my sleep, had my coffee, but I appreciate your time.
Man, we're on the grind. So if you would have said it's 4 a.m. for me and I have to wake up, I will do that because I want to keep both of my arms, man. I love that. So if I can keep any functionality at all, it's gonna be amazing.
It's a good it's a good day.
It's a good day in the office, right?
Yeah.
So, man, there's so much to talk about. Let's start with. I love the fact that you got your black belt out of this situation. You had an enormous fight against Jamahal Hill. It was the banger of the night, for me at least, just behind Brandon Moreno's, because it was so dramatic in so many ways. Did you expect any kind of result similar to that coming into the fight?
You know, I'd never expected my black belt. It's been a long process to get that black belt. I've been doing this sport for about 10 years, so it's a massive chunk in my life. I love Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and anytime I get to fight and showcase my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is a bonus. I never expected it going into the fight with the heated. It was a heated confrontation between myself and Jamahal, so I expected it to be this explosive fight, two guys meet in the middle and it was just going to explode. But on the night, I was just firing that bit better than Jamahal. And when it came to the grappling aspect, this is my world, and I love being on my back in the positions. And I've shown it in countless fights. That's my go-to move. And to pull him right in there and get the submission the way I did was a dream come true.
Yeah, well, we have a weekly panel with some friends, and we discussed the fight. I wanted to get this out of the way right now. How do you feel about the referee and that situation where there was a lot of people saying that maybe he kind of dropped the ball in a way because Jamahal was evidently hurt?
Yeah, you know, it's tough to put all the blame on the referee. I did give him a sign. I lay back and threw my hands out and said to the referee, his arm is broke. Because when I passed it past my hip, I realised that the arm had just went. I'd created that much torque on it that there was no other way for that arm to go than to dislocate. The referee is a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and should know these positions and should know what a dislocated arm looks like. I'm disappointed that he didn't see it. And then for myself, what I wanted to do was finish the fight as quickly as I possibly could without invoking any more damage to my opponent. In that minute, I had already won the fight. The fight was mine, and I wouldn't receive anything from beating him even more. Well, not putting all the blame on the referee and saying that he should protect the fighter, but in the same breath, the fighter should protect himself. Jamahal was an experienced UFC fighter and should be able to hold his own, and he decided not to tap and go out his shield.
When you were in the scramble, did Jamahal verbally stop the referee from calling the fight?
No, it's hard in that moment to decide that your fight's over, because as a fighter, you want to continue to fight even at your weakest point. And what Jamahal was trying to do was he was trying to finish the fight. He was like, right, my arm's dislocated, but I'm going to try and knock Paul out. And that's what he was looking for with the big, heavy shots. But ultimately, once I've locked up that triangle, it's game over for him that it gets into it.
Well, absolutely true. That was a gnarly thing to watch. We were discussing before this interview with some friends about how my friend Diego Rivas, he's a former UFC fighter, and he spoke.
Yep.
He's a great jiu-jitsu practitioner too, and he always talks about how difficult it is to measure strength and how it's important to take care of your opponent. And he has never popped an arm. and I wanted to ask you, how does that feel? Because I know there's this terrible part where you want to preserve your opponent's integrity, because at the end of the day, your colleagues, you don't want him to be that hurt, right? So first of all, how does that feel?
So first and foremost, you want to get the win. You want to do it in a very good fashion, because if you are able to beat your opponent quickly and convincingly, then it looks like you're a capable fighter, and that also helps set up your next fight. As you're saying, we don't want to hurt each other, and that's not how we do it in the gym. We're very, very mindful, but ultimately, we're still looking to either make the person go to sleep, so take a nap, snap that bone, or tap. They're the three ways we finish in jiu-jitsu: snap, tap, and nap. And Jamahal opted for snap. And in the gym, leading into this fight, there was a few times where I've actually dislocated just this camp. I was feeling really, really good in these positions. I dislocated two of my training partner's shoulders. My conditioning coach had tore his pectoralis and his bicep. So I was just firing. I didn't mean to do these things, but when you've trained hard and you're a jiu-jitsu practitioner, these moves come really fast and furious to me.
It comes with the territory, of course. But what we were most impressed, and what took a big part of the discussion for us on the weekly panel, was that you guys had a big beef. Jamahal was pushing this hard. I know that you don't conduct yourself in a way that is particularly controversial. And I was really amazed to see him on the Embedded series walking down on you and putting your face in front of you, his face in front of you. So I was kind of worried for his integrity when I saw you with the face paint and all, and I know you were meaning business. We saw everything happen, but then we took on Twitter and we saw you guys dancing on your asses off, man. So there was a lot of things to unpack from that sequence. First thing I want to know, because the picture is so funny, what were you guys dancing? Because when I saw the picture, I saw you guys doing like this, and I don't know why I thought about ska music, right? Like you were...
So we're in this nightclub, and the alcohol is coming fast and furious. You know, one of the things about being Scottish is we love to fight, but we love to make up and booze, and to celebrate in the way we do. You know, having a couple of whiskies, a couple of beers, to bring Jamahal into that world and find out he's a really nice guy. Because after business is conducted, which was in the octagon, after that's done, it's the case of we need to move on to the next chapter. He's going to go off in his direction and find another fight. I'm going to go off in my direction, and these paths should never meet again unless we get to the gold at the same time. So once the fight's over, I just want to celebrate, and it was amazing to have Jamahal in there. The music we were dancing to, it was properly club music, you know, it was just dancing, but it's just because of my dad. I'm 33 years old, I've got that dad dancing move, so that's why it doesn't matter if I'm listening to ska, I'm listening to rap, I'm listening to pop music, my dance moves are exactly the same.
That was amazing, man. I was wondering, was he invited from you guys, or was he there when you got there? How did that came to you? You guys called to this room and like, yo, is your arm okay? Let's go party.
Pretty much that's how it was.
That's amazing,
so we
man.
had, I know it's just something good about being Scottish. We are lovers as well. We're fighters, but we're lovers. And what we had done was Jamahal's jiu-jitsu coaches had been speaking to myself regarding the sequence, and they said it was an amazing sequence. They had worked so hard in the actual positions, and they thought that in that position, Jamahal would just smash past my guard and beat me. But they were just so impressed with my jiu-jitsu style and the way I conducted myself on the mat that they wanted to buy me a drink. So that's how it started, and then we started partying with the coaches, and then Jamahal then come back from the hospital, and then we bought him a couple of whiskies, and then once the whiskey starts flowing, it's party time for us. Ended up going to this after party, which was Adesanya's after party, and then from that, the dad dancing came out.
Absolutely, man. I don't know if it is that dancing at all. I mean, I can't dance worth a shit either, so I feel you on that. But it was something else, man. I mean, as a fan, we usually see things going on in the sport, and seeing you guys having such a cool moment after such a gnarly
Yep.
fight, it was something to warm the heart. Absolutely. Well, this result gets you to the number 12 position on the rankings, and I don't know, man. Have you ever considered another opponent for your next fight? Is it something that's
Yep.
still on your mind now?
Nope, we've sent that message off. The messages went to the matchmakers, and we've asked for. We're wanting a big name. You know, we've fought the who's who of up and coming guys. We want a really big name for our next fight. We don't just want someone out of the top 15. We don't want MD in the way back. We want somebody in the way to the top, because we're looking at getting ourselves to that gold belt, becoming a title contender. So it's either going to have to be a big name, or it's going to have to be either someone ranked number 9 or number 8, and that's looking like Volkan Ozdemir. We'd love to fight him. That would be the most ideal fight. But as long as it's a big name I'm stepping in the octagon in front of, then that's what fires me up and brings out the best in me.
That's great, man. I mean, I love to see that Ozdemir fight. He was supposed to be in Chile when the UFC came here, so I really want to see him. And what better place than sharing the octagon with you? I was wondering about the Euro Cup, because there's soccer going on, and I know Scottish fans are intense.
Yeah, we've got it on.
Yeah, how do you feel about the Euro Cup?
Yeah, we love our soccer. Scotland play England. It's one of the oldest rivalries in football. You know, we're borders with England, and it's been this love-hate relationship. So it's a big day for MD in Scotland. The last time Scotland were in the Euros was way back in Italy, 96, and then after that it was France, 98. So it's been 20 plus years from we were in a big competition, and it's amazing to see a team like Scotland have got with Chris Tierney and Andy Roberts, who plays in the Premiership, taking a group of guys to the Euros, and I've loved every moment of the Euros. And unfortunately, our first game, we get beat, but it takes a bit of time for the team to maybe bed in, and I'm looking that we're going to get a 1-0 victory over England today.
Well, there's a lot of guys who love soccer and MMA. There's another guy who loves it as well, who's a big name in the sport. Of course, I'm talking about Khabib Nurmagomedov. Have you heard that he recently said that he would be open to play soccer professionally if anybody comes asking? Have you ever considered that for yourself? Are you good with the ball too? Or?
Yeah, it was football I came from. Football was a sport. In the west of Scotland, there's only one sport you play, and it's football. So as a kid growing up, always had football at my feet, and then from that I started playing football. From playing football, then get into coaching football, and then from coaching football, I then moved over to MMA. So you never know. I do play some charity football matches for local charities to try and help them and promote. So I do enjoy football, and Nurmagomedov, Khabib's actual knowledge in football was incredible.
Yeah,
I seen him. Did you see it talking about?
Yeah, he was
I know, and he's like
champs and all that. It was amazing to see.
The Ballon d'Or, who won it, and he was quoting. I know, that's an impressive knowledge. I'm not that good, so I would love to see Khabib with a soccer ball and a football strip on, just playing. But what we could do is we could have a UFC.
I was going to ask you that if you were to set up a UFC soccer match, would you see yourself playing that?
Yep, we could possibly have East versus West. That's the only way it could be. So we get Khabib in our team. That's what we want. Aye, because then if it goes down south and we're getting beat, then we'll just resort to
I can give a call to some Brazilians for you to to help you out.
They guys, man. We've got is the Copa America not on at the moment as well?
Yeah, well, that's a sensitive subject for me because we're playing Copa America right now, which is like your Euro. This is our Euro Cup, and Chile had a good run a few years ago, but right now we're in this place where a lot of players are coming down from the national team. We have to pick up the new guys, and we have a new coach, and It's a weird place, and the
Yep.
situation you guys have with England, we have it with Argentina.
That's your guys.
And we're in a place right now where Argentina has lost 2 finals to us. But if you look past that, which is amazing, they always beat us, right? So
Yep.
they always go like, yeah, you might have won 1 or 2 finals, but we have a World Cup, we have Maradona, we have Dulce de Leche, and all that.
We're exactly the same with England. We're the little brother that stands in the shadow of England. England that always does better. They, as you're saying, have the World Cup, and we've never won it. But hey, you never know. Like, dreams do come true, don't they?
Yeah, they do come true, and that's a nice segue, man. Because I wanted to ask you, the same night you competed, there was a dream coming true for Brandon Moreno, who's right now the UFC flyweight champion. I was going to ask you, I know that you guys usually don't have the chance to go to the back, get stitched up and all that, and maybe come back to the front to see the fights, right? I wanted to ask you, how did you feel watching Brandon Moreno conquer his dream?
It's an amazing story, isn't it? Where he came from being like the last picked in the tough finals to then move on to be a world champion. It's a beautiful story, and I couldn't think of a nicer guy to have to, because I've been watching them buried as well, and seeing him just a normal guy who plays with Lego, plays with Funko Pops. That's an amazing story, and hopefully I'll be telling my story like that one day.
Do you collect anything that you said, the Funko Pops and the Lego? Are you a collectioner? A collectionist?
Yep, I do the exact same. I've got Funko Pops, I've got Lego. I love playing with the Lego with the kids. And it's time, like, I've got 2 girls and they all love. We've all got Funko Pops scattered about the house. We've all got our recollections. But that's what we collect as well, Funko Pops and Lego.
Paul Craig, are you telling me that you're a bit of a nerd as well?
Mm-hmm. Yep, there's a little bit of nerd in all is, and I get to, like, Funko Pops are my guys, reading comic books, playing computer games. So, I've always enjoyed the Batman saga, always enjoyed the Dark Knight, all them. But when it comes to films, I think Marvel have smashed out the box, like they've smacked. They're so good with the films, but it's always DC, Batman, Killing the Joker, all the kind of comics. I love them. But Marvel just smashed the films, haven't they?
Man,
and DC is kind of lagging behind.
Even closer to you now, man. That you're a nerd just like us.
Yep. What's your comic book?
Well, I'm an Iron Man kind of guy. I really love the Iron Man arcs. I love the Demon in a Bottle one. I love to see him struggle. That's what. That's the kind of Iron Man I like. I like him struggling, constantly struggling.
So do you like the kind of older Batman ones where he's that old surly guy? I kind of like the ones where
I haven't read them.
They're good. Where he's dark, he's tortured. I like them. I like that DC are a bit darker, whereas Marvel some of their comics can be a bit funner and a bit more light-hearted. Whereas I like how dark they can go in, like the Court of Owls. But with regards to Iron Man and that kind of stuff, House of M is an amazing comic, and so is like the World War Hulk and Planet Hulk. They're amazing comics. You really
know your stuff, man. I'm amazed, man. I'm amazed. You really know your stuff.
As an MMA fighter, you need to have some sort of something to take your mind off. Yep, you need to. So the best way to do that is to either read books or read comics, and I do both. So leading into the fight, the book I was reading was The Shining. I've never seen the film. And I've never read the book before, so I've read that leading into the fight, and I'm halfway through it, and it's starting to get a bit excited.
Amazing, man. Well, there's a lot of things that we don't know about Paul Craig. Now we know he's a nerd just like us. I understand that. I love it. And something else that you guys don't know about Paul Craig, he knows his Spanish, man. I mean, he has the best phrases. He has the 2 best phrases. We were discussing it before this.
Yep.
I was asking him, like, do you have any Spanish in you so we can talk to the guys that usually watch this show? And it made a lot of sense when you said, yeah, I know just 2 things. And I wanted to...
You only need 2 phrases. That's all. As a Scottish guy, the only 2 phrases you need to know is dos cerveza, por favor. You need to know how to get the beers. And it's not one. You don't want 1 beer, you want 2 beers. There's no much point of just asking the barman for 1 beer. 1 beer? No, it's got to be dos cerveza, por favor. And the only other phrase I know is when you've had too many beers, you need the donde está el baño. So you need the toilet to relieve yourself. So that's my Spanish. And I know milk's leche.
What? I'm sorry, what?
Milk, leche, like
leche. You're talking about
leche,
milk. Leche.
Bibi leche.
Yeah, do you drink milk? Yeah, bebes leche, toma leche, right. We have a toast here in Spanish, here in Chile, and it's used in Mexico as well. So if you have an opponent that you're going to drink up with next, you should bring out the Spanish and go arriba, abajo.
Arriba.
Yeah, you go arriba, abajo, al centro.
Abajo. Al centro.
Y pa
arriba.
Dentro. You go up, down, to the center, and up you go.
Right, say it again.
I'm going to say it in Spanish. It's arriba, abajo, al centro,
el centro,
y pa dentro.
Y pa dentro.
We're going to work on that.
You're going to have to send that video with that. That's going to have to be, and I'm going to have to be like looking at it. But
we're going to have a few drinks later. I'm going to teach it until you get it like a proper Spanish speaker, man. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. I want to leave you with the chance to talk to your South American fans. I know you have a lot of fans here in South America. A lot of BJJ practitioners love what you did, and there was a lot of excitement when I said that you were coming here. So I really want to let you talk to the guys. So if you have anything to say, that's the time right now.
Yep. You know, without the South American continent, there would be no fighting. You guys are the most passionate and loving fans. So I really appreciate the support that you show me. And I'll make sure to put on a performance, as always, when it comes to fighting. And hopefully I get a chance to come to Chile and fight on your soil.
We're going to drink up, man. If you come here, you just let me know and I'll get you sorted out, man. Thank you so much, Paul, for being here with us. Thank you for being at Fordewin MMA. Chicos, lo logramos. Tenemos a Paul Craig con nosotros. Nos vemos. Será hasta la próxima.
No weakness. Conte on a mesh, no secret. Flick of the wrist, no sleepers. Coming for your head, you need B6, he come following, no preaching. Conte on a mesh, no secrets. Flick of the wrist, don't sleep, please come for your head, you need Jesus.